Is it super close? Okay, I'll zoom out. Oh yeah, sorry. There you go. Okay. All right. All right. We're just going to be very simple, and our essential question is how to write a proof. You're going to end up proving again later on something else, but for today we're going to prove parallel lines. So you've never seen a proof before, or it's never been called a proof. In IM1, you did do a little bit, when you see it, you might be like, oh, it looks similar to what we did when solving equations, but we didn't call it a proof, we just called it your justifications, which is the same idea, okay? All right, so let's write the definition of what a proof is. A proof is a formal way to say that something is true. And why you know it's true. Why is the important part? It's a formal way to say that something's true and why you know it's true. So you can't say something without a reason. Okay? So everything always has to have a reason. Okay? Now there's different ways to prove things. There's a paragraph proof, there's a two-column proof, there's a, what else? Flow proof, but there's different ways to prove things. We're going to deal with a two-column proof. Now when you do a two-column proof, you're given some information. It comes from the diagram, or a diagram. If I'm talking parallel lines, then what kind of diagram am I going to give you? A triangle? No, I'm going to give you what? Parallel lines. Or something that looks like parallel lines, right? So it's going to be the same idea. Now if I was dealing with quadrilaterals, then I'd probably do something that looks like that. But since we're talking here, we're going to usually give you the diagram, which is probably a parallel lines. Now the way we write a two-column proof, it is a T-chart. And in IM1, you solved equations using a T-chart. You had the work, then the reason. The work, and then the reason. I don't know if you remember doing that, but you did. So now it's going to look the same thing. You have the statement, and then you have the reason. Okay. Then, within this two-column proof, so this is what it looks like, your statements are numbered. They have to be numbered. Right, they're numbered. It comes, so your information, it comes from the given info. It comes from the diagram. Or it follows logically. You're going to struggle at the logically part. Just letting you know, okay? That is the part where people seem to struggle the most. Logically means this. When I told you the other day that angle 1 and angle 5 were congruent, then you told me what? If I can say they're congruent by corresponding angles, then you said what to me? The measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 5, right? That's logically. If I make the statement first, that's the next logical statement. Do you understand? So that's the logical order. The other thing is this. If I tell you that measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 4 is equal to 180 degrees, should I use that statement to then solve something? Probably, right? You're not going to just tell me that equals and then walk away from it, right? You're usually solving for one of those angles. So it's a logical sense like that, okay? So if I write something, I want to use it. Does that make a little bit of sense? So if you're writing something, you're going to want to use it as much as possible until you can't use it anymore. And I'll show you in a second. So logically is where you're going to struggle, but we're going to try to figure that out. And each statement must have a reason. It must. If you don't have a reason, guess what? It's wrong. It's not a complete proof. You're missing something. Let's talk about where these reasons come from. Okay, reason. It could be a given. And I'll show you what that means in a minute. It could be a theorem. It could be a postulate. We talked about perpendicular postulate the other day. Or it could be a property. Or just a definition. Okay? We good? And the little thing we should write. You will never, ever, ever see the word prove in a proof. You will never, ever, ever, ever see the word prove in a proof. It'll tell you to prove something in the directions, but when you go to do it, you're not going to say prove. Like, that doesn't make sense. So you're not going to write it in there. You'll see it as the top, like where, you'll see it in a minute, But it's going to be at the top in the directions, but it's not going to be in the 2 columns. Okay? All right. I have one example. I'm going to do it on the back because I want to draw the picture, and then I want to do the 2 columns. Okay? So I'm going to go to the back. If you have room in the front, you can write your summary in the front today instead if you want. Ready? I'm only going to do one example. The reason why is because I want you to work it out yourself. Okay, so I'm only going to do one example, and then later on, you're going to actually work out problems or improves together with your partners. All right? But I'm only going to do one example. So, you're going to draw it with me. All right, so here's our example. We have this lovely diagram. We have an angle 1 and an angle 2, and over on the side, it's going to tell you 2 things, at least 2 things. It's going to give you the given. Now, your given can have more than 1, or it can just have 1. This one only has 1. It says given measure of angle 1 is equal to 82 degrees. Then it tells us what we're trying to prove. So our goal is our proof. Now, the proof part should probably be the last statement in the whole thing, because that's what you're trying to get to, right? Kind of like a puzzle piece or like an equation. If this said x equals 4, we're trying to get to the equation, the answer x equals 4. So it's the same idea. This is going to be our last statement in the proof. In order to write the proof, we're going to have a side that says statements, and the other side says reasons. And then you're going to put your pencil down, and you're going to help me do this by watching. Okay, ready? All right, pencils are down and we're watching. So, it says, given the measure of angle 1 is 82 degrees, and then it says, prove that measure of angle 2 is 82 degrees. Okay. So I know that 1 and 2 aren't our normal area for 1 and 2, but we have to use them in the spot they're given, okay? You can't call it angle 3 and angle 5. That doesn't work, or angle 6 and angle 7. You have to leave it where it's at. So we have to actually use angle 1 and angle 2, even though they're not in the normal spot we've been dealing with, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look, and I always start with what you're given here. So what was I given? The measure of angle 1 equals 82 degrees. And then you're going to number both sides, but you're just watching. You're not writing, because that's what I told you to do. And you're going to write the word given, because guess what? It was given. Okay? And then I'm going to look, and I'm going to look at the picture. Because remember, your reasons are one of 2 things. It was given. It's part of the diagram. It was a definition. It was a property. It was a postulate. All of those things, right? So when I'm looking... Sorry.
Alejandra.
Yeah, she's right there.
Okay, bring your stuff you're testing.
Alright, so we're looking at it and we're going to go, well, the first given was based on the given, right? Second given, there could be 2, but let's look at the diagram. What do you know on the diagram right away by looking at it? How do you know your lines are parallel? Because of the double arrows, right? So then I'm going to go ahead and state that number 2, and I'm going to say that P is parallel to Q. because those are my lines, yes? And over here, we're going to go ahead and call it given, but I want you to tell me where you found that, and that was in the diagram. Correct? It came from the diagram. Now I want you to write that only so I know that that's where you're getting it from. Okay? So now I'm looking and I'm like, okay, is there anything else I can use? No. But when I look, I say, well, the measure of angle 1 is 82 degrees. And I'm trying to prove that the other angle is also 82. I don't know why you guys are writing. So when I'm looking, I'm like, well, what do I know about angle 1 in the picture? Does it have a relationship with angle 2? What is its relationship with angle 2? It's not congruent because they're parallel. They're corresponding. What does it mean to be corresponding? Same spot. So in step 3, or statement 3, I'm going to say what? That's my reason. Over here is going to say corresponding angles, right? But what is my statement going to say? Is it equal to angle 2? Congruent to angle 2. So over here I'm going to say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Okay, good. It's not the same. So then, when I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, well, I need to follow it logically. Well, if I said they're congruent, what's the next logical step? Say the measurements are what? To equal. Can't say they're 82 yet. We're not there. So then I go to step 4, and I'm like, okay, well, if the angles are congruent, then I know that their measures are equal, right? Now, the only thing is you didn't know what this definition was. It's just really easy, guys. It's the definition of congruence. Okay, that makes sense, right? They're congruent, they're equal, they're congruent. Okay, I got it. Then I look and I'm still trying to prove what? That they're equal to. Not that they're equal to each other. That measure 2 is equal to 82 degrees. That's the proof. Okay? Am I allowed to say it yet? No. Well, let's look at it. You have the measure of angle 1. Right? Do I know measure of angle 1? Yeah. What is it? 82 degrees. So what is that property that says this can go here? It's not a property. There's a property that says I can take this and replace it here. Substitution. Right? Isn't it the same thing? I already know the measure of angle 1 is 82 degrees. That was given to me. They told me that. Jaime's not going to remember this because he's asleep. So then I know that it's 82 degrees. So if I plug it in here, then guess what it says? Measurement of what? Angle 2 equals what? 82 degrees. Because, now I'm going to write it in the proper order, but I'll show you on the board. It's going to say the measure of angle 2 is equal to 82 degrees. And why did I do that, and how did I do that? You told me it was by substitution. What did I substitute? It's out of order, which is why you probably don't see it. All I did was take this and plug it in here. But I wanted it to look pretty, like that, and that's the only reason. So have you been pretty much doing this? Yeah, we just now made it very formal, okay? I've been making you do this step, I've been making you do this step, and this step, we just didn't write these two words. The only thing new in this picture here is these two here, right? So now I'm just channeling all of your work to be in this pretty logical order. Does that make a little bit of sense? Okay, so you're going to copy it down. I said a lot of words up there too. If you want to write down, you can. I'll give you a few minutes to do that.